What revival is. When a revival is needed. When a revival may be expected. How to promote a revival. Prevailing prayer. Prayer of faith. Spirit of prayer. On being filled with the Spirit. The consequences of having the Spirit. Meeting for prayer. Testifying to the unsaved. To win souls requires wisdom. A wise minister will be successful. How to preach the gospel. How can churches help ministers? Hindrances to revival. Necessity and effect of union. False comfort for sinners. Directions to sinners. Instructions to converts. The backslider in heart. Growth in grace. Please note the text in this book is the work of Charles G. Finney. The Christians have changed. It's real now. I know I'm lost. I do need Christ. I can't understand what's happening. For the first time in my life, I'm concerned about my soul. I can hardly wait to get back here. Yes, God's Spirit is spreading everywhere. The church is awake at last. This is really living. What revival is. A revival is nothing else than a new beginning of obedience to God. A revival always includes conviction of sin on the part of the church. Backslidden professors cannot wake up and begin right away in the service of God without deep searchings of the heart. The fountains of sin need to be broken up. In a true revival, Christians are always brought under such conviction. They see their sins in such a light that often they find it impossible to maintain a hope of their acceptance with God. Christians will have their faith renewed. While they are in their backslidden state, they are blind to the state of sinners. Their hearts are hard as marble. The truths of the Bible appear like a dream. They admit it to be all true. Their conscience and their judgment assent to it, but their faith does not see it standing out in bold relief, in all the burning realities of eternity. But when they enter into a revival, they no longer see men as trees walking, but they see things in that strong light which will renew the love of God in their hearts. This will lead them to labor zealously to bring others to Him. They will feel grieved that others do not love God when they love Him so much. And they will set themselves feeling to persuade their neighbors to give Him their hearts. So their love to men will be renewed. They will be filled with a tender and burning love for souls. They will have a longing desire for the salvation of the whole world. They will be in an agony for individuals whom they want to have saved. Their friends, relations, enemies, they will not only be urging them to give their hearts to God, but they will carry them to God in the arms of faith, and with strong crying and tears beseech God to have mercy on them, to save their souls from endless burnings. When the churches are thus awakened and reformed, the reformation of salvation of sinners will follow. Their hearts will be broken down and changed. Very often the most abandoned profligates are amongst the subjects. Harlots and drunkards and infidels and all sorts of abandoned characters are awakened and converted. The worst of human beings are softened and reclaimed and made to appear as lovely specimens of the beauty of holiness. When a revival is needed, how could the Lord possibly love him? I wonder how we can get him out of our church. How did I ever get involved with this mess? I don't see the image of Christ in any of them. When there is a want of brotherly love and Christian confidence among professors of religion, then a revival is needed. Hey, Christian, did you see that adult film last night? Boy, what a blast. At you. I didn't see it. It was great. The star played the part of a preacher who turned out to be the biggest crook in town. What a bunch of hypocrites. Everybody got saved. Ha ha ha, what a joke. When the wicked triumph over the churches and revile them, it is time to seek for a revival of religion. God knows when we need a revival. Don't try it yourself. Thanks, Reverend. That's just how I feel about it. A revival of religion is the only possible thing that can wipe away the reproach which covers the church and restore religion to the place it ought to have in the estimation of the public. Without a revival, this reproach will cover the church more and more, until it is overwhelmed with universal contempt. There must be a waking up of energy on the part of the Christians, and an outpouring of God's Spirit, or the world will laugh at the church. At such a time, revival of religion is indispensable to avert the judgments of God to the church. This would be a strange preaching if revivals were only miracles, and if the church has no more agency in producing them than it has in producing thunderstorms. We could not then say to the church, unless there is a revival, you may expect judgments. The fact is, Christians are more to blame for not being revived than sinners are for not being converted. If they are not awakened, they may know assuredly that God will visit them with his judgments. Some people are terribly alarmed at all direct efforts to promote a revival, and they cry out, "You are trying to get up a revival in your own strength. Take care, you are interfering with the sovereignty of God. Better keep along in the usual course, and let God give a revival when he thinks it is best. God is a sovereign, and it is very wrong for you to attempt to get up a revival just because you think a revival is needed." This is just such preaching as the devil wants, and men cannot do the devil's work more efficiently or more effectually than by preaching up the sovereignty of God as a reason why we should not put forth efforts to produce a revival. When a revival may be expected. Sheesh. Fools, I could care less. Tisk tisk. Sheesh, we're through. You'll hear from my lawyer. Mommy, Daddy, stop. Terrible. Ha, she likes it. Want some more beer, honey? Sure, Daddy. Kitty's matinee. Sex, sex, sex. Shame. Hey, want to hear a Jesus joke? Ha. God help us. Oh, Lord, we need a revival desperately. Please send us one, dear Lord, please. When the wickedness of the wicked grieves and humbles and distresses Christians.